Hey there, everybody. As is often the case, you can find me right now working from the wharf parking lot during nap time. You'll see kiddos asleep behind me, and what we're talking about today is this idea of vulnerability. We're talking about what vulnerability has to do with trust, because there's something in the way that we understand God that calls us to be vulnerable. And what is vulnerability? It's this way that we often let people see our true, authentic selves. And our true, authentic selves are often messy, and we're often reminded of the way that we aren't as perfect and as powerful as we often think we are. I heard a quote the other day from the comedian Chris Rock. He says, when you first meet somebody, you're not really meeting that person, you're meeting their representative. And it's this idea that we put on a mask and we try and let people know who we are, and we try and make people think that we're perfect, and yet that's not who we're necessarily always called to be. We're not called to be these absolute perfect beings. Perfect in love, sure. Perfect in the way that we try to follow God, yes. But we know that we're not always perfect, and that we're not the most powerful individuals or anything like that. I know I'm not. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's in weakness, in fact, that we see God at work most clearly in our lives. In 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4, we read, "For Christ was crucified in weakness, but lives by the power of God. For we are also weak in him. But in dealing with you, we will live with him by the power of God." What we're hearing is that as Christians, we're not called to be the most strong. We're not called to be always the absolute greatest beings, these superheroes necessarily. In fact, our power is couched in the weakness, the perceived weakness of the cross. We are called to recognize where we've fallen short, and in recognizing where we've fallen short, we can grow, and we can grow in God, because our power doesn't come from ourselves, it comes from God. And so as we work on trying to grow as Christians, we're called to see where we've fallen short as well. And when we're able to do that, we are able to find ways in order that God can help us to grow and move towards this perfection and love that I was talking about. And so today, we've been watching those pizza review videos for a while. We get to see the way in which our demonstrators, some of the young adults in our church, were able to really make themselves vulnerable. And they sent me this great video of them making themselves vulnerable for your viewing pleasure, in order to remind you that none of us are perfect and that we're all trying to grow. And so I hope you enjoy the video. They're going to say back to you, Carl, at the end, but I decided to jump at the very beginning this time. So have some fun. Check it out. Enjoy.
Welcome to Review with You. Ooh, I like that better than For You.
But caution, it's gonna be hot.
And it's doing so good. Okay. Anyways, to make this, take a deep breath, babe. Such great value. Why am I weird? Things you get challenged to do during young adult meetings.
So before you eat your pizza, you need to take a minute and eat some salad. Because frozen pizza is not that healthy. And salad is actually kind of healthy. It is really reflecting off my forehead.
It is. It's shiny.
How do you feel about the pizza?
This. It was like. It tasted like cardboard, and I would rather eat my coat.
Faith, how do you think this relates to cardboard?
It was pretty cardboardy, and I would rather eat my toes than eat this crust.
Monica has purple hair now.
Tommy has no hair now.
It's true.
Faith has green hair.
Wow. We've all got hair. Let's see how this wild pizza tastes. It's wild!
Tommy's nervous to try it now.
Well, ain't it cool?
I give it a. Afterwards.
2 thumbs. I give it a 10 out of 10. Let me try that again.
And that was your review for you, number 2. Back to you, Carl. Alright, this is the last review for you. River is very upset about it.
It's been a fun adventure, and thank you for joining us on this wild ride. We are so happy not to eat frozen pizza again.
Ever.
Ever.
Back to you, Carl.
Bye, back to you, Carl.